Rahana was a widow living in a tiny, dilapidated room in the heart of the city slum. Her life had taken a cruel turn after her husband, Kamal, died in a tragic construction accident. At the time of his death, Rahana was pregnant with their child, and now, 3 months after giving birth, she was left with no one to rely on. Each day was a struggle for survival. With no steady income and no help from anyone, Rahana barely managed to scrape together enough food for herself and her baby. Often, her little one cried in hunger, and Rahana's heart broke as she realized she couldn't even provide milk to ease her baby's pain. But Rahana was a determined woman. Despite the crushing weight of poverty, she refused to give up. She knew that she had to do whatever it took to raise her child. She told herself, "If I don't fight for us, who will?" One morning, as the sun rose over the crowded slum, Rahana made a bold decision. She swaddled her baby in a warm blanket, left him in the care of a kind neighbor, and stepped out to search for work. Her pockets held only a few coins, barely enough to buy a single meal, but her heart carried a flicker of hope. Walking through the busy streets, Rahana knocked on every door she could find, asking for work. But each time she was turned away. Hours turned into an entire day, and as evening fell, Rahana's exhaustion began to overtake her. She realized she hadn't eaten all day, yet her search remained fruitless. Rahana leaned against a wall, her body heavy with despair. She glanced up at the darkening sky and whispered, "I can't give up. Not for my baby." With a deep breath, she wiped away her tears and prepared to continue her search, unaware that her life was about to change in the most unexpected way. As Rahana trudged along the bustling streets, her feet dragging with exhaustion, she suddenly heard a soft, pitiful cry. At first, she thought it was a child, but when she turned toward the sound, her eyes widened in surprise. By the roadside, sitting in a pile of dirt, was a tiny monkey. It was trembling, weak, and visibly distressed. Its small, helpless frame tugged at Rahana's heartstrings. She hesitated for a moment, torn between her struggles and the compassion stirring within her. She thought, "How can I take on one more responsibility when I can barely care for my baby?" But she couldn't walk away. Something deep inside her refused to leave the little creature behind. With a determined sigh, Rahana bent down and gently picked up the shivering monkey. Its tiny hands clung to her desperately, as though it knew she was its only hope. Rahana cradled the monkey in her arms and decided to return home. Her search for work could wait another day. For now, her priority was helping this little creature survive. As she made her way back to the slum, passers-by gave her puzzled looks, but Rahana ignored them. Her mind was preoccupied with thoughts of how she could care for the monkey and her baby. Back at home, Rahana set the monkey down on a tattered blanket. She prepared some warm milk, feeding her baby first and then offering some to the monkey. To her surprise, the monkey drank eagerly, its trembling slowly subsiding as it nestled against her. For the first time that day, Rahana felt a strange sense of peace. As the monkey fell asleep beside her baby, Rahana stared at the two of them, her heart heavy with questions. How would she find enough food for them both? How would she continue searching for work with an extra mouth to feed? Yet despite her doubts, she couldn't help but feel a flicker of hope. The little monkey had brought something unexpected into her life, a sense of purpose. Rahana didn't know how, but she was determined to make things work. In that quiet moment, she made a silent promise. She would do whatever it took to care for both the monkey and her child. Days turned into weeks, and Rahana's tiny home became a haven for her baby and the little monkey she had rescued. Despite her struggles, she poured every ounce of her energy into caring for them both. Yet the weight of poverty loomed over her like a dark cloud. Rahana knew she couldn't go on like this. She needed to find work, and soon. One morning, as she wandered the city streets in search of employment, her path crossed with a kind-hearted dairy farm owner. He noticed her standing outside his store, looking tired and hungry, with a quiet determination in her eyes. Compassion stirred within him, and he approached her. "Are you looking for work?" he asked. "Yes," Rahana replied eagerly, clutching her worn shawl. "I'll do anything to provide for my child." The farm owner hesitated for a moment before offering her a job. He explained that the work would be difficult, feeding cows, cleaning dung, and maintaining the farm, but it paid enough for basic necessities. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Rahana accepted without a second thought. Every morning, Rahana would leave her child and the monkey in her small hut and head to the dairy farm. She worked tirelessly, earning just enough to buy food for her little family. Despite the exhausting labor, Rahana was relieved to have some stability in her life. Meanwhile, the monkey began to grow stronger and more active. It started playing little games, hopping around the hut and amusing Rahana and her baby. In these small moments, Rahana found comfort. The monkey's playful antics brought laughter back into her life, even on the hardest days. One evening, as Rahana rested after a long day at the farm, she noticed something extraordinary. The monkey had begun imitating her gestures and performing little tricks, such as clapping its hands and rolling over on command. A thought sparked in her mind. Could these tricks bring in extra money? She mentioned the idea to the farm owner, who encouraged her. If you can train the monkey to perform in the market, he said, you might earn enough to make life a little easier. Rahana's heart swelled with hope. From that day onward, she spent her evenings teaching the monkey new tricks. She clapped and laughed as the monkey learned to mimic her movements and respond to her commands. It wasn't easy, but Rahana's determination never wavered. Finally, the day came when Rahana decided to take the monkey to the bustling city market. With her child strapped to her back and the monkey by her side, she stood nervously among the crowd. People cast curious glances, unsure of what to expect. But when the monkey began its performance, jumping, clapping, and even bowing, it captured their attention. Slowly a small crowd gathered, clapping and cheering. Some tossed coins her way, while children laughed in delight. For the first time in months, Rahana felt a spark of optimism. She had found a new way to fight for her family's survival. Rahana's days at the market quickly became a regular event. Every afternoon, she would bring her baby and the monkey to the bustling marketplace, finding a small corner to set up their humble performance. At first, people approached with hesitation, unsure of what to expect. But as soon as the monkey began its tricks, rolling over, clapping, and mimicking Rahana's gestures, curiosity turned into delight. Children would laugh uncontrollably, and even adults found themselves captivated by the monkey's charm. Rahana watched with awe as the small crowd grew larger each day. It wasn't long before people started tossing coins and small bills into her basket, showing their appreciation for the unique entertainment. The monkey's talents didn't stop there. It began learning more advanced tricks, such as balancing on one foot, imitating dances, and even performing mock bows to the audience. Rahana, who once struggled to feed her baby, was now earning enough to buy proper meals and clothing. The sense of relief and joy she felt was immeasurable. News of the monkey's performances began to spread. People started coming to the market specifically to see Rahana and her talented companion. Children would beg their parents to take them to the market, eager to watch the little monkey's humorous acts. Rahana was no longer just another struggling widow. She had become the monkey show lady, and her fame continued to grow. One day, a wealthy man in the market approached Rahana after a performance. Dressed in fine clothing, he introduced himself as the owner of a traveling circus. "Your monkey is quite talented," he said, his voice filled with admiration. "If you join our circus, we could take your monkey's performances to a larger audience. You'll earn more than you ever imagined." Rahana hesitated. The thought of leaving the market, where she had found so much support, made her uneasy. She didn't want to lose the connection she had built with the people who had come to admire her little show. But the man reassured her. "You won't have to give up your monkey," he explained. "We'll share the profits 50-50, and your performances will reach cities you've only dreamed of." Rahana spent the night wrestling with her decision. She thought of her child, the struggles she had endured, and the hope that the monkey had brought into her life. Finally, she made up her mind. She couldn't let this opportunity pass by. Joining the circus marked a new chapter in Rahana's life. The monkey, now performing on a much larger stage, became a sensation. Crowds of hundreds and eventually thousands gathered to watch its antics. The shows were no longer limited to the marketplace. They traveled from town to town, bringing laughter and joy wherever they went. Rahana, once a widow lost in despair, now found herself earning more money than she had ever thought possible. Her days of scraping by were over. She was able to move into a proper home, provide her child with the care and comfort he deserved, and even send money to help others in the slum where she had once lived. The monkey's fame grew to incredible heights. Newspapers wrote articles about the remarkable monkey show, and people from far and wide traveled to see its performances. Rahana, now widely respected, could only marvel at how far she had come, from a desperate widow in the streets to a successful performer beloved by so many. But with fame came new challenges, and Rahana knew that her journey was far from over. While she reveled in her newfound success, she couldn't shake the feeling that there were more trials ahead. Yet for now she chose to focus on the joy that her monkey had brought to her life, and to the lives of countless others. Rahana's life was transformed. From struggling to provide for her baby, she had become a household name in the world of entertainment. The monkey's performances had brought her unimaginable success, and her days of hunger and despair were now a distant memory. Her rise to fame allowed her to move into a spacious house, one that she had only dreamed of before. For the first time, her child had a proper bed, warm clothes, and nutritious meals. Rahana had created a safe and secure home, a far cry from the slum where her journey had begun. The monkey's fame continued to soar. Crowds lined up to watch its performances, and tickets to the circus shows sold out in record time. The monkey wasn't just a performer, it had become a symbol of joy and resilience. People marveled at its intelligence and the connection it shared with Rahana. However, with fame came new challenges. The demands of performing for larger audiences meant long hours of training and travel. Rahana found herself constantly on the move, juggling her responsibilities as a mother and a performer. The pressure of meeting expectations weighed heavily on her. As the monkey's popularity grew, so did the competition. Other performers in the circus began to feel threatened by the attention Rahana and her monkey received. Rumors and jealous whispers began circulating. Some even accused Rahana of exploiting the monkey for her own gain. Things took a darker turn when a powerful rival company decided to target Rahana's newfound success. They planned to open a competing entertainment center near the circus, aiming to draw away her audience. The rival company launched an aggressive campaign, spreading negative rumors about Rahana and questioning the quality of her performances. At first, Rahana was deeply hurt by the criticism. After all, she had poured her heart into her work, and she viewed the monkey not just as a performer, but as a member of her family. But Rahana was not one to back down easily. She knew that her journey had been full of hardships, and she wasn't about to let new challenges undo all she had achieved. Determined to protect her legacy, Rahana decided to take action. She introduced new and exciting elements to her performances, adding vibrant costumes, music, and storytelling to captivate her audience. She also started incorporating heartfelt messages into her shows, sharing her story of struggle and resilience to inspire others. In addition to the performances, Rahana began expanding her horizons. She worked with the circus team to add new attractions, ensuring the audience always had something fresh to look forward to. Her son, now old enough to help with the business, stepped in to support her. Together, they devised plans to strengthen their brand and outshine their competition. Despite the mounting pressure, Rahana remained focused. Her bond with the monkey grew stronger than ever, and she continued to treat it with love and care. For Rahana, the monkey was more than a performer. It was her partner in survival, the one who had given her a second chance at life. Her efforts began to pay off. The audiences returned in droves, enchanted by the new shows and inspired by Rahana's story. The rival company's attempts to undermine her success started to falter, and Rahana's reputation as a talented and compassionate performer grew even stronger. Though the challenges were far from over, Rahana had proven one thing: she was a fighter. Her journey from the slums to the stage was a testament to her strength, and she was determined to face whatever came next with the same resilience that had brought her this far. Rahana's success had reached new heights, but so had the challenges. The rival company intensified its efforts to undermine her. Their strategy went beyond mere competition. They spread false rumors about her monkey, accusing her of mistreatment and unethical practices. These lies were meant to erode public trust and draw audiences away from her performances. At first, Rahana felt the weight of these accusations pressing down on her. She had worked tirelessly to care for the monkey and treated it as a part of her family. The thought of being viewed as anything less than compassionate was heartbreaking. But Rahana knew one thing for certain: She couldn't let these lies define her. Instead of crumbling under the pressure, Rahana chose to fight back. She started by improving her performances even further, adding breathtaking new tricks and heartwarming stories to captivate her audience. Her monkey became the star of elaborate routines that left the crowd in awe, showcasing both its intelligence and the strong bond they shared. But Rahana didn't stop there. She introduced new attractions to her park, creating an experience that no rival could replicate. With her son by her side, she revamped the shows, adding vibrant costumes, musical backdrops, and interactive moments for the audience. The public quickly noticed the improvements, and the tide began to turn in Rahana's favor. Behind the scenes, Rahana also sought legal help. She filed a lawsuit against the rival company for defamation, determined to protect her name and her park's reputation. Her legal team worked tirelessly to gather evidence, proving that the rival company's accusations were baseless and intentionally damaging. While the legal battle played out in court, Rahana focused on her work. Her determination was unwavering, even as the pressure mounted. She reminded herself of the hardships she had faced in the past and the strength it had taken to overcome them. This was just another test of her resilience. Despite the chaos, Rahana found moments of peace with the monkey. After each performance, she would sit quietly with it, reflecting on how far they had come together. The monkey, always loyal and affectionate, seemed to understand her struggles and offered her the silent support she needed. As the weeks went by, Rahana's hard work began to pay off. Her performances continued to draw large crowds, and public sentiment shifted back in her favor. The audience saw through the rival company's lies and rallied around Rahana, inspired by her story of perseverance and integrity. Finally, the court issued a ruling in Rahana's favor, marking a significant victory in her battle against the rival company. The judgment not only cleared her name, but also reinforced her position as a respected performer and businesswoman. Through it all, Rahana had learned an important lesson. Challenges were inevitable, but they were also an opportunity to grow. With her reputation restored and her park thriving, she felt stronger than ever, ready to face whatever the future held. Rahana's victory in court was more than just a legal win. It was a turning point. The false rumors had been silenced, her reputation was restored, and her park was thriving once again. For the first time in years, Rahana felt a sense of peace and pride in everything she had built. With her son by her side, she began planning the next chapter of their journey. Together, they envisioned a park that wasn't just a place for entertainment, but also a hub for innovation and inspiration. Rahana's son introduced her to modern ideas, VR attractions, interactive games, and educational programs, all aimed at drawing even more visitors. Rahana embraced these ideas wholeheartedly. She knew that growth meant adapting to new challenges, just as she had done throughout her life. The park underwent a massive transformation, blending cutting-edge technology with the heartwarming charm of the monkey's performances. Visitors marveled at the fusion of tradition and innovation, and the park's popularity soared to new heights. But for Rahana, the most important part of her journey was the legacy she had created. The monkey, once a helpless creature she had rescued, had become a symbol of resilience and hope. Its bond with Rahana was a testament to the power of compassion and hard work. As international media began covering her story, Rahana reflected on how far she had come. From a widow struggling to survive in the slums to a global inspiration, her life was proof that perseverance and love could overcome any obstacle. She often said, "The monkey didn't just save my life, it taught me how to live." Now Rahana was more than just a successful businesswoman. She was a symbol of what it meant to rise above hardship and build something meaningful. Her park had become a global attraction, and her story inspired millions around the world. Looking out at the park bustling with visitors, Rahana smiled. She knew this wasn't the end of her journey, it was just the beginning of a new chapter. The lessons she had learned and the bond she shared with her monkey would guide her forward. With her family by her side and a community that believed in her, Rahana was ready to embrace the future. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart and inspired you, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up to show your support and share it with your friends and family, because stories like this remind us of the power of love, resilience, and compassion. And if you're as moved by this journey as we are, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another incredible tale like this one. Together, let's continue exploring stories that bring hope, inspiration, and a little bit of magic into our lives.